Hey everyone, Cornopinoy X here once again, back with another video. And today, we'll be taking a look at more Bayonetta 3. Now it's very obvious that Bayonetta 3 is one of the main games I got really excited for during the Nintendo Direct alongside Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, the last and the first thing they showcased throughout the entirety of the Direct. Now because of the fact that we're gonna be getting more information regarding Sunbreak during Tokyo Game Show, I thought I'd go ahead and talk more about Bayonetta 3. The first thing I want to quickly cover is the combat and what things have changed in comparison to the previous two games. Now the first thing that really stood out for me regarding the combat scenario for Bayonetta 3 is the fact that there was a moment where Bayonetta activated her contract with Madama Butterfly and she transformed into her contracted demon. This kind of acted very similar in fashion to the Devil Trigger that we got to see in the Devil May Cry series, but obviously Bayonetta is not half demon, she is an Umbran witch. So instead of having a scenario where she transforms into a demon, instead what's most likely happened is that she conjured up the ability of Madama Butterfly and Madama is now controlling her body. And that really stood out for me because we now have a Devil Trigger-like capability in Bayonetta 3. Even though we have something similar in the previous two games, they're not really prominent in presenting the demon she contracted with, whereas in this one, it's very prominent that Madama Butterfly is in the scene. Having said that, the other thing that really stood out for me is the fact that with the enemies that she was fighting, she was also summoning infernal demons to do her bidding. Unlike the other two games where they're usually in quick time events, in this one, you control them directly. In other words, you no longer had to wait for a boss fight in order for you to summon the infernal demons. At the bottom left corner of the screen, you can actually see a user interface where Bayonetta can choose which infernal demons she wants to summon, and then when the bar is full, she can summon that said infernal demon. So overall, the infernal demon controls have now changed drastically in this one because of the fact that they're no longer just tied to quick time events, they are tied to you controlling them in certain scenarios, which is super awesome in my opinion, and I really like the fact that they have a more prominent role here in comparison to the previous two games where you only got to see them in certain scenarios. Now obviously, some infernal demons you might not be able to summon from the get-go, like Madama Butterfly for example once again, but overall I really like this change because it does mean that we no longer have to wait for a boss fight just to see some of the awesome demons that Bayonetta can summon. Now the next part I want to quickly cover is in regards to the story and setting of Bayonetta 3. I am genuinely curious where this places in the timeline of the Bayonetta series as a whole. And the main reason for that is first and foremost, the enemies can be seen by humans. In the Bayonetta universe, normally Bayonetta fights in the place known as Purgatorio, the realm in between the Trinity of Realities. She cannot be seen by any of the humans when she fights angels or demons, meaning that there has to have been something that happened in this game specifically that allows humans to see the enemies that Bayonetta is facing. Alongside that, Bayonetta is not facing angels or demons as of right now. Whatever these creatures are, they look like an amalgamation of human souls and transformed into these monstrosities. So hopefully they'll explain as to what these creatures are in future, possibly before the game releases, just to give us an idea on the setting of Bayonetta 3 and why humans can see these creatures specifically. Now alongside that, let's go ahead and talk about Bayonetta's overall looks and personality in this title, just from the glimpses that we got to see of her character. Now in regards to Bayonetta's character, perhaps the part that really struck me is just her overall personality when interacting with certain scenarios like the enemies for example. She still maintains that very provocative and very suggestive character to her, but she also had a bit of a childlike demeanor to her personality, not really seen in the previous two games in my opinion. If I had to compare it to a different character from a different series, it's almost as if seeing Dante from Devil May Cry 3 when he was just much younger. This is the exact same vibe I'm getting with Bayonetta here. Alongside that, when you take a look at her hairstyle, this is actually something that Susie the Spear Hunter brought up, and in my opinion, it kind of makes sense to some degree. Bayonetta's overall stylistic in the third game looks very similar to when she was just 4 years old, known as Cereza. And in my opinion, it is possible that we are seeing this young Cereza from the first game finally growing up to become Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3. So this could act as a possible prequel to the first two games, or alternatively, we could be looking at the alternate timeline Bayonetta from a different universe. So this could be a different character, hence her personality is a little bit different but still maintaining those key characteristics from the original character. Now the only reason I'm going with this crazy and wacky theory that perhaps we're looking at an alternate timeline Bayonetta is because of the events of the second game. I highly suggest playing the game or watching the cutscenes to get an idea as to what I'm talking about, but the long story short of it is, there is a point in time in Bayonetta's past where the timeline kind of splits. Depending on her choices at that point, she will either be the Bayonetta that we know from the first two games, or potentially she becomes a new Bayonetta that we see in the third game if it is an alternate timeline counterpart. But that is just a wacky theory, like I said, so we don't exactly know if it is gonna be something that comes up in the third game story-wise. This could just be an entire prequel to the series as a whole. Now, those are pretty much the main subjects I wanted to quickly cover regarding Bayonetta 3, and as you can see, I'm really excited for this game. I can't wait for next year for this game to release, and I can't wait for more information regarding some of the key things I've just spoken about. The enemies that we got to see in this title, possibly new weapons, new infernal demons, how Bayonetta's timeline is gonna be affected story-wise, so on and so forth. It's gonna be an exciting year for Bayonetta fans after waiting 3 or so years for any news regarding this game. With that being said though, because of how much hype is building up regarding Bayonetta 3, Hideki Kamiya, the mad lad that he is, not only decided that he would unblock certain artists, he decided to troll them as well. The first thing that I remember seeing on Twitter regarding Hideki Kamiya since the introduction of Bayonetta 3's trailer is that he decided to retweet a number of artists for their artwork, specifically the Bayonetta fan art, and then he blocked them again afterwards. That's how dedicated he is to the cause of maintaining clarity on his Twitter page and removing all kinds of clutter outside the stuff that he really wants to see. Not only that, there was also a moment on his Instagram page where he decided to troll everyone by showcasing that the beauty mark on Bayonetta's face was actually Yoko Taro's logo. This guy just knows how to troll people on the internet, and I really love the fact that he does that. Now, with that being said though, trolling aside, there is one serious post that he made, and that is in regards to Bayonetta on all other platforms. If you're looking forward to Bayonetta 3 outside the Nintendo Switch in the near future, possibly after the game's launch, I highly suggest not holding your breath anytime soon. And the main reason for that is plain and simple. It is Nintendo who literally saved the Bayonetta series by investing money on them and really taking that rough diamond and polishing it up to the gem that it is today. That's the only reason why they're even able to develop Bayonetta 2 to begin with, because Nintendo jumped in and saved them. That is the reason why when Hideki Kamiya posted that if you want this game on the Nintendo Switch and other platforms as well, you'll have to convince Nintendo themselves. And the only way you're really going to convince Nintendo is by having Sony and Microsoft pay them a pretty penny for Platinum Games to develop that game outside of the Nintendo Switch, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, unfortunately, Bayonetta 3 and even Bayonetta 2 will still be Nintendo exclusives for the foreseeable future. And that's gonna be pretty much it for me for this video, talking more about Bayonetta 3 and how hyped up I am for this title. What do you think about Bayonetta 3 as of right now, based on the initial trailer that they showcased during Nintendo Direct? Let us know in the comments below your overall thoughts and opinions regarding Bayonetta 3 and the Bayonetta series in general. Now, with all of that being said, if you enjoyed these videos, please consider hitting the like on the video itself and subscribing to the channel, as well as hitting that bell icon so you can go ahead and catch up on any future Bayonetta content that I might be doing or any other games that I might be playing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.